Hello everyone and welcome to the Lamix Lab, the lab that has a guy called Lamix in it, and that's me. So today we're going to be doing a Yasuo support guide. So I'm assuming you guys already kind of know how to play Yasuo, and in this clip you will learn some tricks of his and like some gameplay, but this is mainly on how to play him as a support. So starting with the summoner abilities, I like to take Exhaust over Ignite for a few reasons. The first is to be more useful in late game, in my opinion. For instance, there's a Zed and he's creeping up on your AD carry. He wants to kill him, and then you come out of nowhere, BAM! And you exhaust him, and boom! His bum has been neutralized. His backside, rather. I apologize for the graphic imagery. Another reason is to keep myself and my AD carry more healthy in a 2vs2 fight, because it reduces their damage output, and it's just a safer option than Ignite in my opinion. The last reason is because it's hard to convince people in the first place in Champion Select that Yasuo support is going to work. So if they see you with Ignite, they're like, oh, this guy's going to come, steal all our CS, he's going to mind control Baron, and he's going to make Baron walk to our base with his little slug worm body and destroy us all. So you're going to freak them out, and you're not going to be able to play Yasuo in the first place, so this guide is going to be like rendered useless. Anyhow, onto the runes. So as you can see with the runes, I'm using kind of like the old Thresh rune page. You've got your magic resist, your armor, you got a bit of physical damage and a little bit of crit. That little bit of crit is just, to get lucky and get this big damage all of a sudden. But I think a lot of variations can work. If you wanted more crit, I think that would work. As long as you've got your magic resist, your armor, so you're a bit tanky and you can trade well, and a bit of damage as well, I think you're fine. So take this maybe as like a base kind of rune buildy thing, and then you can adapt it the way you want, and you will succeed. I know you, Jessica Frank, all you guys watching. And now onto the mastery page. Oh yeah. Now I like to go 12 in cunning and 18 in resolve. Now you could go ferocity, which is like the normal Yasuo build, but I would like stand against that, because I think the more tanky style, by default you're more useful to your team or to your AD carry, in the first place, because of this Bond of Stone. Because you're like already making them more tanky, you're taking some damage off them, and because you're tankier, you're going to last more and you're going to do better in these trades. So I would just go with this. This is what I prefer, but you could experiment with ferocity, and yeah, depending on what you're playing against and how good you play, I think you could make it work also. Oh, and before I forget, I like to take bandit instead of dangerous game, because I think we're trying to rush static shiv as fast as possible, so any kind of thing to help us gain some gold to reach that, I think is going to be useful. Especially because when I play these unconventional supports, I don't steal CS from my AD carry or from anyone, unless you really have to push a lane, or if there's no one there you get the last hits or something like that. Because like most of the time when I see people pick an unconventional support like Nidalee or whatever, they'll try to steal as much CS as possible. When you're all doing dragon, they'll be up top trying to steal the whole thing and like split push it, but really, they're just trying to make it work. But I always tell them, like, if you have to steal CS and not get a sight stone, no vision or anything, then you're not really playing like a support, so you haven't made it work. You haven't made the unconventional pick work as a support. Now enough of my rant, and back to the guide. So hopping in a game here, just a little hoppy, I would prefer to go with Relic Shield at the start, because it's going to give you some health, some combat stats, it's going to give a little heal to your AD carry, and it's going to give you money, so it's going to help you get your static shiv faster, which is what we want to do. So talking about the skills really quickly, I like to take Q first to charge up my tornado. harass the enemy and also zone them, because when they know you have a tornado, they're gonna like be, you know, apprehensive to come close to you or your AD carry. So you can harass them and zone them from a safe distance. Starting E is probably stronger, but I'd only do that if I knew my AD carry and I knew that he was willing to go John Rambo with me and dive these people and actually fight. So I'd go with E second, and I wouldn't go wall second unless, you know, like the situation called for it and they had like some major poke and your AD carry is really low and getting hit by all the poke and stuff like that. So at level 3 we'll get the wall, and we will max the E first so it has a shorter cooldown so you can like hop all around the place, and it also increases the damage of it. I personally maxed the Q second, but you can max wind wall second if you felt the enemy had a lot of projectiles and stuff. Maybe they have an Ez and they have a Jinx and all kinds of crazy things. Then that is what you would do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the early game. We're going to these golems to help the jungler. Yasuo builds a shield while he's moving around, so I'm going to use the shield to tank these golems for maybe like 2 hits to help the jungler out and he can be more healthy. Now, my fellow lab members, while you're in the laning phase, I prefer to proc the relic shield with a Q to get a charge. So when you've got 2 charges, you can throw your tornado and either zone or harass them, or both. It's also important to note that it's preferable that if you go in for a trade, you've got your shield up first. So one trick you could do is you charge on a minion and then you poke him with your sword, and then you E back on another minion back to safety. So you like dash in, kabam, and then you dash out, and they never even saw you coming. The drawbacks of this is you could get caught out and take a lot of damage if the enemy is sharp, and also you're gonna be pushing the lane because you're gonna do damage to 2 minions. Another thing to note in laning phase is if they have like a poke comp or something and you're going to lose your HP and your AD carry is going to lose HP, and you're just going to get dwindled down, I don't even know if that's a word, so you've got to go ham because Yasuo isn't the best at protecting AD carries. So you've kind of got to test if your AD carry is willing to go ham, because there are so many safe players out there that just want to sit and farm and they don't want to trade or fight. Another important trick in a Yasuo support's arsenal is the wind wall. Now, when the enemy, you can do this in lane, but I think it's most effective when you push the minions to the enemy tower. You can use your wind wall to block the AD carry from getting the last hits on the ranged minions, or all of them if you position it right. In the reverse, you can also put up the wind wall if the enemy are harassing your AD carry and preventing him from getting CS. You can put up the wind wall so then your AD carry can comfortably get the CS and they can't stop him or harass him. So another good thing is you can use the wind wall to block Dragon and Baron's damage for your team when you're doing these things, but be careful when you use it. Know where your enemy is or if a fight's about to happen, because if you use it to block Dragon and Baron's damage and then a fight breaks out, you're not going to have the wall for the fight, so just be mindful of that. Okay, boys and girls, moving on to the items. Now, I believe in always getting a Sightstone, even when you're an unconventional support, even if you are a Riven support or whatever, who thrives on damage items, because vision is just way too important. So after my first back, I will usually swap my yellow trinket for a red scanny trinket, and I'll get pink wars as usual. I won't be stingy with my gold. I'll pretend I'm a Sona, or like a Janna, even when I'm playing Yasuo. So don't be cheap and stingy with your support stuff, with your vision, because that usually wins the game in the first place. So I try to get a zeal fast for the combat stats, but if I can't afford it, I'll get the little crit thingy and start a Sightstone. I prefer the attack speed boots because attack speed lowers your Q's cooldown so you can get more tornadoes out yourself. You could go mobility boots, but I prefer the attack speed ones. Also, in my opinion, I think Static Shiv is a must, and you try to get it ASAP. But if you know it's going to be late, then like if you've started the Shiv, just put it on hold and finish the Sightstone, because it's really important for your like dragon control and all that stuff. So I'm not going to give you a whole build, because I'm assuming you guys have played Yasuo before, so like you can kind of connect the dots. But if you're going like a full support style Yasuo who's gonna like build items for the teams and team and stuff, you can go like Shiv first. Obviously you have the Sightstone in there. You get a relic, the face of the mountain thingy, and you get a locket, an Aegis if they have a lot of magic damage. And then you can branch off into whatever, like you can get a Frozen Heart if they have a lot of attack speedy people, and that kind of thing. Or you can just put on more damage, maybe in IE or something. The other route you can go is you go Static Shiv, Sightstone, then you can just go like, the standard Yasuo, get Infinity Edge and whatever, especially if you're fed. Like you go for that stuff. Gonna give an honorable mention to Black Cleaver, because I reckon like if you get it, you're gonna be a bit more tankier, so you can do better in team fights, and it's got its little effect to like shred the armor of whatever you've hit. So if you get like a good tornado or whatever, then you're gonna help out the team, especially if your team has like 80 damage. But anyway, on to the team fights. So try to get your tornado up before fights. So try to get like the second charge on your Q, especially if you have no knockups on your team. Also, don't go in on every tornado. Try to catch the priority target. So like the AD carry, a Zed, the mid laner. Don't get it on a Garen or something. You're going to tickle Garen and then he's going to kill all of you. In the fight, you little Yasuo samurai guy, try to position your wind wall to block where their range DPS is. So like you kind of look at their AD carry and maybe their mid laner who's going to chuck projectile dark magic stuff at you, and like put it there, so then you're going to block most of their damage and keep your team relatively safe. Another thing is, if you're going to play Yasuo, you can also play him in a kind of peely way, but you have to use like your ult on the guy attacking your AD carry. So if it's like a Zed, I keep using Zed, if it's like a Garrett, whatever, and they're attacking your AD carry, knock them up and then use your ulti, and that little time will get your AD carry time to make some distance and like get away and like continue kiting and stuff, so you can like help them out that way. Now talking about team synergy, Yasuo works well with Vayne because if she condemns, he can ulti off that, as long as like the guy doesn't hit the wall with the condemn. Also Fizz, if Fizz is the mid laner, the little knock up from the fish ultimate thingy, shark, whatever, and then yeah, you can like jump in on that. And obviously like Alistar, Jarvan, Wukong, whoever has like a knock up. So if you have someone like that in the team, that's a bonus, but you don't have to have them to do well with Yasuo, in my opinion. Like if you're really good at getting your Q up before fights, or like while you're having little Mexican standoff, you can go to the minions and charge up your tornado. And also I would say try to charge up your Q on like whatever you can see. So like if you're gonna have a like a dragony fight, then like use your Q on the turtle if it's there. And yeah, just whatever's around you, just always try to kind of charge up your Q, especially if you have no knockups on your team. And also Yasuo won't be the best support pick if you have an AD carry that really needs to sit back and farm, because Yasuo isn't the best champion at protecting. So that's it, my fellow lab members, and remember that this guide is what works for me, so you can take it, leave it, tweak it, sell it to a family of carrots, whatever you want. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Would you use different items? Would you do a different skill build? Whatever it is, just put it down in the comment section and let's have a little talk about it. Now, onto the Operation series. This is going to be the first time I've done this. It's a series where we will undertake small missions that may make a good difference in our lives. So without further kangaroo stew, I present to you Operation Food Wolf. So in today's Operation Food Wolf, 2 meals that we have today, let's sit with a family member that we don't talk to enough, that we don't talk to often. Could be your mom, could be your brother. Let's sit with them for 2 meals today and eat with them. And like hopefully we will conversate with them. And that is Operation Food Wolf. Thanks for watching, guys. John.